there is a tricky part to it, as any trained facilitator will tell you, which is you can accidentally become overwhelmed by the field of the client, or you can become blinded to certain things, or you can get triggered. It's known as countertransference in therapy. And it's just the same with consultants. So for example, yesterday I was doing a piece of consulting call with a client. All morning before the call, I was in a state of like uncomfortable overwhelm. I was terrified, and I felt exhausted and overwhelmed. And I'm experienced enough to know that it's like, is that me, or am I picking up on the field of the client that I'm engaging in? Did the call, they're all completely overwhelmed. Yeah, anxious and overwhelmed. It's taken me, that 1 hour call took me 24 hours of like, it's like I'm energetically involved in that field for 24 hours. I'm just starting to feel better. Right? And it's like, wow. So if you're very sensitive, or to the extent that you become more sensitive and attuned, because I think that's the case for everyone, it's just about attunement, you are at risk of being overwhelmed by or blinded by the field that you're serving. And so in order to avoid becoming complicit in their field, as accidentally reinforcing their patterns that are keeping them stuck, you need to do quite a lot. You need a lot of work to help you be in your field, which is why people who do this work, the work I do a lot of meditating, a lot of personal connection work, a lot of field awareness, and they usually have supervisors, right, who they can talk to every week or every month, that they can talk through all the things that come up. That's comes with the work. That's comes with the profession. Yeah. And I'm an amateur. I've always been a self-taught kind of amateur, but it's very real. It's very tangible. Yeah.
No, that's fascinating, and I kind of recognize some of that from my own, foray into running a dialogue practice for a year or so, and being somebody who is sensitive to fields and how those kind of subtle dynamics can play out. And I wonder if, sort of threading through that masculine feminine dynamic, there's something about the masculine that is, or rather something about the greater synthesis of masculine feminine is what's affording of you to go into the field of another or of a group, be sensitive to it, but still have robustness. Well, there's a kind of spiritual resilience that can be cultivated that allows you to sort of hold your center more deeply in that space.
The mechanism by which that becomes possible in myself is the willingness to be to be hurt or broken, and not therefore defensive or brittle, right? So when I talked right at the beginning, when I was introducing myself, saying it's a painful transition, that it's painful because I've had to be broken, right? So the rigidity of my container, my structure had to get broken in quite a lot of different places in order to become flexible, to be remade, right? So to be responsive to life, however that shows up, children, partner, client, world, there's all these different things, pressures, changes. Now, if one is rigid, which I was through being defensive, built on top of a sensitive, very sensitive field, strong rigidity and structure, that gets broken, right? And that brokenness, that willingness to be, oh fuck, or but to not be defeated by it. In other words, it's a martial arts, capability. You can use a martial arts metaphor. It's like, instead of being like, pow, and you fall over, it's like, oh, that hurt. You're not pretending it didn't hurt, right? So that gives centeredness and power. And so if you are able to go into a room or sit with someone and have that degree of willingness to be to take a blow energetically, you're able to do that more than the person you're serving is. I'm able to do that. That energetically models a possibility for them that they can be less brittle, less defensive, more open, more receptive, just a little bit more than they were before, right? And so unconsciously they're modeling themselves on that field. And it's sort of, I like how we have a common language about fields. It's as if a field has an energetic structure, totally invisible. People are able to mimic it unconsciously and learn from it by being in it. Where I've failed is if I come in, I'm too stressed or I'm too brittle and I haven't been able to resource myself or meditate or get calm, or I've drunk too much coffee because I'm too tired or whatever it is, and I can't go there. And then I'm of limited use, or the use that I am is just theoretical or cognitive, and it's not a deeply felt shift, change. Yeah. But that happens less and less because I kind of know my game. And even if I'm feeling crap, I'm able to say, I feel crap. And then it can come because it's not me doing the work.